I believe we are live. How y'all doing? And thank you for joining me. I'm Corey Dillon. I live in a little town called Atlanta. I do radio and TV, and I asked my friend Robert Irvine, the world famous chef, to join me for this special broadcast because I think probably nobody is more knowing than him about how impossible the restaurant biz can be. And I'm sure that he has some great insights. He's got a new book. He's also got his TV show, Restaurant Impossible, that is going into, I believe it's 10th or 11th season next week. I believe it airs on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. He'll have to tell me if that's Eastern or Central. But let's bring in Chef now. How are you, Chef? How are you? I'm well.
Listen, it's season 17, not 10 or 11.
It is 17? Hey, Washington State University comm major. I can't count. Apologies.
That's okay.
You got so many TV shows. That's amazing. 17 seasons, and I know how many different states have you been to? Have you been to all of them yet?
41 states to film, and I visited all of them and done other things, but only 41 states apparently. So a few more to go.
Okay, and a little background. I know you from Florida. I've interviewed you on various radio shows that I've worked on, and you live there with your lovely wife. Most importantly, how are you guys doing?
I mean, it's beautiful.
Oh, is she there?
It's a bit bright, but it's beautiful outside right now.
I know. Well, that's Florida until June 1st, right? And then it's hurricane season.
Yeah, well, it was. I just did a 20-mile bike ride, and it felt like a hurricane season going against it.
Oh. Well, I know you're not drinking. I'm just going to make a quick little gimlet here. 2.5 ounces of Kirkland's finest gin, and I know you're not drinking. You are a champ. You're my inspiration. Okay, all right. It's 2.5 ounces of gin, and then a 1/2 ounce each of either simple syrup and or lime juice, or I guess the proper recipe is, and I usually pour a little heavy. Let's be honest, but the proper recipe, I guess, calls for. What is it? Roses lime?
Roses lime. That's a real English drink.
Yes. Well, I mean, the reason why I wanted to have something gin is because I know that's an English drink. I mean, I know that y'all drink a lot of gin.
It's not real lime. It's like cordial.
Yes. Right. So it's sweet. So you don't need the sugar apparently. Right. Yeah. But I'm going to use a little sugar. I figured, you know what? We're not in England right now, but that's the way it goes. I wish that we were. Maybe
no,
not.
No, you don't. They're locked down worse than we are.
Worse than we are?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, and you're in Florida. I'm in Georgia. We're opening back up for business. Admission, I just got a haircut today. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It just everybody keep your distance. Which hair?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, it's funny because I was watching that special that you and your wife were sitting on the couch at home for the show, for the airing of the new season, and she was saying like, "Look how dark your hair was," and I was like, "Oh, Gail,
the old days.
We all used to have dark hair like that. It's just some of us are spraying it on now."
But you wouldn't know. But nobody would know. You're like my wife. Nobody would know that you cut any hair because your hair is always the same.
I know. It's been the same since I was about 3 years old. Let's be honest. Okay, but you guys are doing fine, obviously. You're 20-mile bike rides and not drinking during lockdown.
Well, I did drink one night. I was filming here. We do a lot of filming with GoPros and things. And I did a day of filming, and we broke out a couple of bottles of tequila, and I passed out at 8 o'clock, and my wife put the other bottle away from me. So, I haven't been drinking.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us have, even on the job, but that's another story. But the last 17 years of your career with this Restaurant Impossible, amazing show on the Food Network, has been helping people survive in the restaurant business, a lot of family-run businesses and things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you have some great advice. People, they need to, I don't know if they need to think differently. They need to pivot. I know that there are some very fancy restaurants. Yeah. I mean, there are some very fancy restaurants that I'm aware of, like Canlis in Seattle, where I'm from, and other restaurants here in Atlanta that I'm reading about, where the chefs and the restaurateurs and the entrepreneurs, they've started making comfort food, which is going to lead us into talk about your book a little bit, but they've kind of gotten away from the fancy stuff. Is that going to help them?
Well, it's simple. What do we do? And that's a great segue into yes, a lot of change is coming. I'll get into that in a second. But comfort food, what do we do when we're sick? We eat chicken soup, right? I mean,
Right.
when we're down, we try and kind of run to the things we know the best. Something that your
Yeah.
mother used to make, basically. Mine is roast chicken and mashed potatoes. There's a lot of great things that are happening out there. And whilst we've gone through a terrible time with this pandemic, we've lost lives and some awful things going on. We're now on the other side of it, and I don't want to be joyous and whatever, but we have to look forward, right? We can't keep looking
Right.
backwards. And
Right.
if you look at the media, it's all doom and gloom. Sorry, it is.
It
And we
is.
got to get out of that. Restaurants are going to come out. We're going to lose probably 30 to 40% of small business, not just
Yeah.
restaurants, because we can't afford to you know take 9 weeks off of revenue. We don't keep that much money in the bank. So that being said, we will come out. We started to see it all the states now. I think Montana and a couple of others are at 50% occupancy. So if you feel good,
Yeah.
and I've been saying this all the time, a third of our people don't care about masks and gloves and protocols. They've already back into the restaurant business. Another third will come back when there are protocols and feel safe in restaurants. And the last third will not go into any public areas until there's a vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be stages. We've already seen, Alabama, Texas, some amazing places that are coming back and doing great business. Small mom and pop restaurants. I was literally on the phone 2 seconds ago with one in upstate New York, and they haven't opened in dining yet. But my
Right.
friends who I finished the Chianti Cow used to be. Then there's another one called the
The
Covered
Chianti
Bridge.
Cow. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing great with takeouts. So obviously they have to pivot. And I've done 230 restaurants in the life of the show, and then my own, obviously. Let me take these off so I can read that close. How are you doing? Kelly, how are we doing? Yes, I'm fine. New season next Thursday at 9 p.m.
Is that Eastern? 9 p.m.
9
Eastern?
p.m. Eastern, yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff happening. People have closed up the restaurant because they had to quickly,
Right.
and now they're reopening slowly.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's 20. They have to have, or they can only have like 25% occupancy maybe in Florida. And I believe that's what it is in
Yes.
Georgia. Is it even worth it for them is that a smart business decision to actually open up the restaurant, or should they continue to do the curbside takeout kind of plan?
Both. I think both.
Yeah.
Listen, the first thing you have to do is reinvent what is your break-even point, right? So normally from 6 p.m. in the evening till 11 at night, that 5 hours, you do X amount of money. But now you're going to have to do it over a longer period because we have less seats.
Right.
So you got to pick it up somewhere, either delivery, takeout, or some other way to do that. So that's the first thing. You got to look at what is the new baseline. How many staff do you need? Remember, I've got one in the Pentagon. The Pentagon has gone down from 36,000, 38,000 a day in and out to less than 5,000. So if I've had to, and I've never closed in there, I've kept a staff of 5 people, but now I've got to look at, well, my dining room's not been open for 8 weeks.
Wow.
It's a grab and go kind of place. So how do I cut the staff in half? I'm looking at that now. Do I cut the staff in half moving forward until we can make that number, or don't we? So I don't think anybody should close. I think you should fight till the bitter end for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's coming back, and you just gotta trust and don't pay your rent, don't pay your mortgage. Yeah, and
I know
because there's a lot of companies that are not doing it, and we know one famous, the Cheesecake Factory.
Yep.
Don't pay it. Talk to your landlords first,
right,
and see if you can move
and then
around. Listen,
paying it,
or the mortgage, or put it on the end of the mortgage. There's people are doing it.
Right.
The biggest thing there is watching your staffing based on the money you're getting, watching the food you're buying, and we go back to that comfort food. Menus are changing. They're smaller. They change more frequently, so we can keep you coming back. Because we've had only 8 items on a menu, you're not coming back every day, are you?
Right.
It's funny. I have the Covered Bridge in New Hampshire. They're giving a roll of toilet paper, funnily enough, when you get a takeout order.
Hey, you
ingenious
know
idea.
what? Right. I mean, you
But it
kind of,
works.
I think that those are the people just generally, like you said, that in any kind of business that are going to survive, the people that are thinking outside the box. Like, what can I get? What can I do to draw customers in? You know, I've seen some restaurants doing Facebook Lives and cooking
Mhm.
their food or sharing their recipes because, you know, everybody will try the recipe maybe once if you really love it. And then you go, I can't do it the same way. So they'll hopefully go back to the restaurant. I would like to see or hope.
But everything's going to change. You see what we're doing here. So when you're a
Yeah.
salesman or saleswoman, whatever you want to, selling food to supermarkets, we're going to sell food like this. We're not going in to have a meeting in the supermarket anymore. You know, all the
Yeah.
Walmarts of the world. Orders are going to come from this digital instead of drive up. You know, we're going
Yeah.
to pay on these. We're going to do. There's an awful lot going to change, and I think
Uh-oh.
there's Kelly. I worked in the restaurant business for
Yeah.
30 years, doing everything, cashing. My entire family has worked. My husband and I in Wisconsin. We're doing.
Yeah, she knows the struggle. I
Thank
mean, a
you.
lot of people do. A lot of people know the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the Guy Fieri's of the world, the All In Challenge, the restaurant associations, all these different groups. Jose Andres feeding people.
Amazing.
You know, chefs are very philanthropic. My big
Yeah.
thing is obviously the military piece. That's all I do is travel the globe with the military and feed and all that sort of stuff. But it's just interesting now in times in times of dire need, we find all these heroes, the doctors and nurses, the stockers of the food, the drivers, the truck
Yeah.
drivers, the farmers, all these amazing things, and people come out.
Yeah. I know in Tampa Bay, I think in Clearwater and in downtown St. Pete, perhaps they're opening up or closing some portions of roadway to car traffic and
Yeah,
they're putting tables out there for people to dine. I think maybe that's a baby step and you know, people working not only with their landlords saying, hey, can we renegotiate, or maybe going to the city instead of just kind of complaining on Facebook, which I also see some people doing. And I understand they're at their wits' end, frustrated,
yeah.
but I think it's not productive. You know what I mean? On Facebook, I think there are other
Listen,
ways that you can get things done.
you give one of these things or one of these things, people can vent more, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Some good comes out of it, mainly bad.
Yeah.
But Tampa's done a great thing. But not everybody has the streets to close down where the restaurants
Right.
are. So that's
Right.
another way of making revenue if you can add tables. But again, it's tough. Even if you're Walmart now. Look what they've done. You can only have one. It's almost like World War II rationing. You can have this. I went into a store the other day and I picked up 2 bags of Martin's potato rolls. Right, I love their potato rolls. I got to the cash register and said, no, you can only have one. You know,
Wow. Well, when
give me
you're
a
doing
break.
those 20, did you say I'm doing 20-mile bike rides? I can have 2.
It's bread. We bake bread every day. It's not a
Yeah.
technical thing. Bread to me, sorry, it's not. Whereas chicken and all the rest of it, you need people to do that.
Yeah.
Guys,
And
this is me telling you all out there. There is no food shortage. All the people are there. They're butchering things. They're chickens and all their pork.
right.
There's a lot of hysteria about, oh, let's grab food just like the toilet paper. You don't need to.
Yeah.
There's plenty of food. There really is.
Yeah.
So don't go and take more than you need. There's plenty.
Right. Have you seen anybody else doing anything inventive? I know Douglas said he said there's a restaurant here in Pittsburgh doing a take-home meal kit, like a HelloFresh. Great idea, he thought.
And we've been doing that for years. It's become more, Doug, it's become more apparent to you now because of this time. But we've been doing that for years. The restaurants are now doing appetizer, main course, dessert for families of 4 and 6, which we've never normally done. And you can finish it in the oven, or they'll finish it for you there. Sending all the stuff you need, almost like Blue Apron, if you like. One big thing that is catching on, and states are allowing, not every state but a lot of states, is finished cocktails. You made one, but now my own distillery in Pennsylvania is actually making finished Mai Tais and stuff ready to go in a bottle.
Oh wow.
They can ship in this in state, or you can pick it up. We pivoted from making vodka to making hand sanitizer. Overnight.
A lot of people have done that. Yeah.
So before it became the in thing to do, it's kind of cool.
Right. It's really cool. I mean, it's like there's a guy who's a musician in Tampa Bay there, and I believe it's Tampa Bay. he has started playing in hospitals, and I don't think he's getting paid, but I'm like, that's smart. That's
Yeah.
smart, because it's publicity for you, and you're getting the word out about what you're doing, and you're doing something good for people
But
at a
it's good.
time where,
He's doing it. A very smart guy. He's doing it for other people first and foremost, right? He's not thinking, oh, I can get gigs after this. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's just like we give the hand sanitizer away. Keela Ann, I think I'm saying that right.
yep,
Yes, it is.
yep,
But we, and some of my restaurants do that I've redone on the show. They hire young kids and adults to drop the food off. And believe me, I'm a big advocate of that. Rather than give the money to, all those delivery services, I won't name them.
yep.
But they're taking the biggest part of the food, the money. They're taking it
Right.
and leaving the restaurant with a third of the money. So I'm a big advocate of restaurants having their own delivery personnel, for sure.
Right.
And even apps on the phone now, because that's what's going to happen. You see, again, we're going into this, but there'll be a
Yep.
QR code on the restaurant. You press it, you be able to see the menu, you'll be able to pay on this site. There's a lot of digital stuff that's going to happen and change. I'm sitting with a group of people. If I could give you a sticker on a window and a place to see what's happening in that restaurant that's safe and everybody's doing the right things, wouldn't you want to go to that restaurant because you can see what they're doing? Of course,
Yeah.
it's all about customer trust and bringing back confidence again.
Like transparency is a
Yep.
nice big word that we've been using a lot
Yep.
here. Okay, so let's talk about the new book. I know you don't have all the time in the world here today. The new book, Family Table. I mean, are you?
It's not really,
I don't want to say this is
new.
Okay,
but it's
newish.
not really new. I
mean, did you
it.
know this pandemic was coming? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Family Table, that we would.
I wrote the book because my girls are 22 and 19 now. So one lives in Philadelphia because she's at law school.
Wow,
and
great.
My other one is in Delaware because she's a pediatric speech pathologist.
Wow, great.
Almost there. She's not quite finished yet. But when they come home, they're doing this all the time,
Right.
I'm like, hey, there's people, So I wrote the book to get people to cook together, to sit around a table and enjoy conversation that we never do. That's why I wrote the book. It's been out now just under, I don't know, 9 months, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
But it does really well. And it's just really just to get the family together. Leave your phones in the basket at the door or wherever you put them. Turn them off. And in fact, I think Comcast and all these other folks have done a great job of now you can control your Wi-Fi in your house. You can turn it off.
I know. Parental controls.
I just think food is about family and fun and fitness. And if you can put a couple of those together, not everybody's into fitness, not everybody's into fun. I mean, I don't know why, but it's kind of cool. And that's why I wrote the book, and all the proceeds that we go from the book go into my foundation.
Right.
Again,
amazing.
Which is doing gift cards for servicemen and women, $300 to go and get. I think we've just done $50,000 worth of that.
Oh, good.
Our military are food insecure too. The young kids not getting paid much, and they got a kid at
enlisted.
Home. So as well as everybody else on the planet, our Fit Crunch bar, which is doing amazing. We put out something really cool that you would, and if you'd have been here, I'd have got you involved in it. But next time I will.
Yeah. Okay.
We put out a tweet to say, hey, listen, who would you nominate to get a care package of bars and powders and little what do you call them, cheese puff things? But we got jalapeno, we got all these different flavors.
Ooh,
and we got 14,000 requests in a matter of hours, and my team in Pittsburgh and in New Jersey have been sending them out. And all those men and women that come back from Afghanistan, Iraq, and foreign trips now, they're quarantined for 2 weeks. So they got to sit in a barracks. Imagine that 9 months away from your family. Then you come to the States and you got to sit in a barracks for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So we've been doing that, which is kind of cool, I think. So.
Yeah. So I know Ian has a question here. He has a service dog. He's home alone. I know. And he wants to know about, there's not a lot out there for people. I like to say I cook I cook once, eat twice. You know, I mean, that's kind of the way I do it. So,
yeah. Well,
you know.
I believe, and Ian's asking there, you can kind of catch that, what he said there, but I like to make a menu on a Sunday. I go one shop for a week.
Yeah.
I'll go to the store, pick up the stuff, wearing a mask, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the stuff. I'll prep it on Sunday for the rest of the week. I won't cook it, but I'll prep it, onions, and I make it into little trays, little silver trays, put it in the refrigerator. And now I know the meals, because what I find is if it comes to the day and we don't know what we're going to eat, we don't eat, or I eat cereal.
Yeah, I don't skip any meals. You're unusual. I promise you I don't.
Well,
But okay. I mean, I don't own a scale either, but I'm wearing stretchy pants every day now. Robert, I want to know, and I haven't worn real shoes in 2 months. So from the book, like what's a great recipe? Is there a recipe people can find online? Should they get the book? Obviously,
well,
I mean, just kind of whet their appetite.
I'm working in my thing. Jeez, let me look here.
But like you said, I mean, I think, through this, a lot of people have had to cook at home for the first time. One of my girlfriends, who's also in radio, she was like, "What's wrong with my salmon? It had all the white fat kind of coming out of it, but it was yeah, well, no, but it was undercooked in the center." I think that she goes, and I said, "Well, maybe just finish it off in a pan sear it or broil it." Or she goes, "I don't even know what those things mean." People are really kind of starting from zero, I think. Roast chicken. I think you're so right. Sweet potato and oranges, yum.
And then there's
and steamed beets.
Then let me see if I've got some pictures in here. And it's funny, I just picked this book up from my lawyer's office the other day. I don't even keep one in my house because I travel so much.
Right?
Oh, there's another good one.
Until now, you traveled a lot. I know you guys had. What's that? New England clam chowder? Oh yes.
There's great, and what I've done with it is I put all the not that you care, but all the nutritional stuff in there. So that there's that much fat, that much that in it.
I care. Believe me, I care. I mean, I think my brother-in-law is a physician in San Diego at the busiest hospital down there in San Diego County. And he talks about the way you look, it really actually matters more what you put in your mouth, the food that you're eating. When you're eating food, frankly, that you cook, that is whole food, it's better for you every time.
And you know what you're putting into it, basically.
Yeah.
We don't know. And I always laugh because I just saw a tomato salad in here, and I'm crazy about tomatoes and fresh ingredients. But nowadays, tomatoes, here, look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful?
Yes, and I'm sure it tastes delicious too.
But you've got to pick tomatoes that are not 6x6 in a supermarket that we buy from somewhere in Holland or Mexico or, nutritional value of food has completely changed over the last 5-10 years.
Do you grow any of your own food? Do you grow any of your own food? Like tomatoes are kind of easy.
Food when I travel 345 days a year, I can't even.
You pay someone.
No, if you were to come into my house, so I was shooting a show in State College, Pennsylvania, on the 12th of March. We finished at 7:00 in the evening. I went back to my hotel, had dinner with the crew, live tweeted a new show. And by 10:00, I was in bed. By 3:00 in the morning, I was in hospital with acute food poisoning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Spent 2 days in there.
That's the worst.
My team had left, and then the lockdown started. So I was stuck in Pennsylvania, State College, Pennsylvania. And it's so funny because I asked an Uber driver to take me to the airport. First of all, pick up my bag at the hotel. Secondly, take me to the airport. Because I came out of the hospital and I'd coughed.
Oh.
No chance. Three Uber drivers later, I managed to get one. But
holy cow!
I've been in this house. We built this house 3 years ago, and I normally spend 11 days a year in it. And now I spent 8 weeks cooped up.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I mean, there are worse places to be than Florida, USA. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Is it cold in Pittsburgh? Somebody said it was cold in Philly.
It's a little cold in Atlanta here today. It's like 65 degrees.
Upstate New York.
Crazy. And there's murder hornets on the loose.
And it's 87 degrees here.
Oof, man.
I know. I'm just really jealous.
No, no, no. Well, I'm a little. Do you have a pool? Then I'm jealous.
I do.
You do. I see. I knew it. I knew
It
it.
came with a house. I didn't
Oh,
build it. It came with a house.
I know. I know. See, smart. I mean, this is, I don't know if has this made you rethink anything that you're doing? I mean, obviously, I guess with the restaurants, you're kind of, and making hand sanitizer, it's a great thing that you were able to pivot like that. Has it made you guys kind of rethink anything? I know, like for me, even, I'm like building my dream house and what really makes me happy in life. You know what I mean?
Well,
In
it's
my
funny,
head.
when we built this house, the kitchen, I hated it. Right. And it took me a year. I
Mm-hmm.
literally moved in. I ripped the kitchen out completely. I put it into the garage, not the range, but all the refrigeration, all the cabinetry. And it took me a year to build the kitchen I have now. Not me personally, but to design it.
Right.
Because I have a big center island that I
Yeah.
cook. And I mean, I literally, every recipe in this book, I set out on the island before we did it. I mean, that's how big the island is. And it was a kitchen that I would use in a restaurant, one-step movements. I don't want to go over there. I don't want 16 steps over there, because ergonomically in a restaurant, the less steps, the faster the food comes out. And that's how we design kitchens. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I didn't have in the kitchen utensil-wise that now I'm like, oh, what about this? I have an electric can opener, but I didn't have a hand can opener.
Yeah.
We had an old one that I went to get. It's just embarrassing, but I went to use it and it broke. The handle fell off it, and I'm like, well, what do we do now?
Hey, MacGyver would know what to do. I think there are tricks.
Well,
I've seen people like open wine bottles with a shoe. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Knives. I don't want to ruin my knives to open a can.
I know.
So
well, I mean, do you have a hammer, nails, something like that?
I opened the can, but I went and got 3 can openers after that.
Yeah. So this is the rethinking you're doing about your life. I need some manual tools.
Yeah, I mean, we do an awful lot of stuff already. So for me, we have 11 companies that do different things, all surrounded by food. It started off at food, then we went to equipment. We have cookware, we have glassware, we have all the things. And here's a really unique thing. Everything we do, a big percentage of my revenue goes into the foundation to build homes, to do all the things that we do with the military and first responders. So it's not about money. It's about a game for me. How can we break into something that is monopolized by a big company, right? Yeah. It took me 3 years to make chicken wings because the big companies of the world were doing it and wouldn't let me in. And we finally got in, we finally got in. And it's how can I take that product and use it for the betterment of somebody else less fortunate? And that's what we do.
Right. And I know I heard that because this, what was it? Because of the Final Four didn't happen, that chicken wings were on sale. Like it was the cheapest chicken wings I've ever been.
Well, think about it.
I mean, crazy.
It used to be throwaway food.
But it's isn't it the most expensive part? Yeah, but isn't it the most expensive?
Now it's probably one of the most, it's more expensive than legs and almost breast of chicken.
Wow. Yeah. I that's like, I save wings and things like ribs for super secret single behavior. I don't want anyone to see me like eating with my fingers and licking my fingers, Robert. I can't.
We smoke our wings. So everything we do is frozen. We have ribs. We smoke them. So my wife loves them. Years ago, I don't know if you remember, but I did a HSN. You were here then. And I made a halogen oven way back in the day. I still have that halogen oven, and it's only one on the planet, I think, unless anybody else has got one. I don't know if you have. I'll buy it from you. But it takes all the fat out. And Gail's a fat nut. She doesn't, she's got dairy allergies. Wow. She's got this. She's an athlete.
Oh, okay.
She's like all about the fat, and I'm all about eating the fat.
Right.
Literally.
I mean, I'm not against it.
So I mean, this halogen oven is like golden. But so we look at products that we can bring out that are good but inexpensive, and again, somebody else benefits, not only the user but also the military folks and whatever. So
all right. So I know that you have things to do after your 20-mile bike ride. You've got a wife to attend to and a pool to dip into.
She's making dinner, right?
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Why would she marry a chef? Really?
She's a better cook than me. And it's my
That's
anniversary,
hilarious.
my eighth anniversary, wedding anniversary tomorrow.
It is? Oh my gosh. Wow. Happy anniversary. Okay. So you're going to cook for her. What are you going to make for her?
Don't know yet. Because she's finicky. She's really, normally Like she just made tofu and sweet and sour kind of stuff, whatever. I'm a meat eater, so I'll have chicken with that stuff.
Right.
But she'll decide when I plan everything, she'll say, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. So we'll end up making, vegetables more first. So instead of making one vegetable, we'll make 21 vegetables.
Wow.
She's freaky.
But I'm just saying, you can start a little community garden there in Florida where you live, and somebody else will tend to it.
I'm hoping that in the next week or two that we're back filming again.
Okay. Good. Yeah. How many episodes have you filmed for this season?
So we finished season 17 already before this.
Wow. Okay, good.
Visits. I'm going to bring the next kind of restaurants, bring them out of not recession, but pandemic status.
Are you? Okay, good.
So I'm putting new rules, go through all the new, not only social distancing, but all the other things that I think are going to happen, and of course digital and re-preparation of P&Ls and all that sort of stuff. At the same time, I'm going to do 2 of them a week and 1 Restaurant Impossible a week.
Do you need people have asked if you need any volunteers for the event that you were talking about? Do you need any restaurants that might be able to apply to be on your show? How does one do that?
And I will have to get the application thing for you for both shows, but we are 2 revival kind of shows a week and a Restaurant Impossible complete redo. So good. People that were successful before the pandemic, right? I don't need to go in and knock the wall down and rebuild, repaint, maybe a facelift, that I can hire local people, like a painter, or that hire local people to do it, so I don't have to bring a crew in. And then Restaurant Impossible is where we completely, it's ridiculous. In 2 days, what we do is ridiculous. Right. So we'll do 2 revivals, 1 of those, and then hopefully by the end of the year, Dinner Impossible will come back. It was supposed to already been back, but hey, things happen, right?
And as far as the book goes, with all the donations or the proceeds going to the gift cards for our military service members, is the best way to get that book on your website or any other way?
Yeah, the website. On your website. And if you want to look at the foundation, you can go to robertirvinefoundation.org, and it'll tell you where all the money goes. You'll be able to see it. It's all transparent, obviously. Right. But the book, yes, we have to go to my website, chefirvine.com or robertirvine.com. I can't even remember what it is. I'm so bad.
Google Chef Robert Irvine. You will find it.
I will send you where people, any of your listeners want to apply for RI or to revive, come out of this pandemic.
Okay.
Because I don't do that. I have a team that pick that, not me. I just show up. But
I know, fantastic. And I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so much for doing this. I'm glad to hear that you and Gail are doing well. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
We'll be watching on Thursday. Restaurant Impossible returns to the Food Network.
I've got to tell you quickly. It's so cool. What? This is a pastor from Orlando, right?
Oh.
A man of the cloth who drives to Titusville every day to open a restaurant called Lloyd Have Mercy.
I see what he did there.
Oh, but let me tell you, it's the
Lloyd Have Mercy.
It's the feistiest show we've ever done in 220 restaurants.
Oh boy, is Lloyd the man of the cloth?
Yes, he's nose to nose, dripping and screaming at me like from.
Oh
there.
Wow!
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. The restaurant biz is not for the faint of heart. Obviously, it never was. Never was.
I will tell you, he's great at giving sermons.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's politicians usually, although it's driving me crazy that they keep reading all these things on TV. They're just droning on. I'm like, y'all need to become a speaker. That's what will get you reelected.
Yeah, tune in 9 o'clock. It's going to be very exciting.
Okay, we'll be watching for sure. Thank you, Robert. Chef, I really appreciate it. Love you, and we'll see you soon. You too.
Stay well. Take care.
You too. You too.